welcome to the Chicago Sully Show. Today is Monday, November 24th. It is a Victory Monday as we celebrate the Bears' 31-28 win over the Steelers. We're going to go in detail regarding the Bears' win, what went well, some good, bad, and ugly. And we're also going to talk some Blackhawks hockey and Bulls. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, we celebrate the Bears' 31-28 win over the Steelers, and winners of 8 of our last 9, 8-3, first place in the NFC North. Who could have saw this coming? Again, after starting the season 0-2, with how bad that first Detroit loss was, it's just incredible to see where the team's at now and the growth that's been made. The offense looks great. Caleb with 3 touchdown passes, 2 to DJ. The turnovers, not great. Without strip sack in the end zone where TJ Watt got to Caleb there. Held on to the ball a little bit too long, but we've seen that all year long. Caleb looking to make the most out of plays. But aside from that, a few missed throws here and there, nothing to be too worried about for a second-year quarterback especially. Really happy with how the offense is looking. And most impressive to me was the defense. It's worth saying that with our 3 best linebackers out, with Edmonds, Edwards, Zool all unable to play. Also, 7 out of our 11 starters as is were not playing. So for the defense to step up the way it did, huge shout out to Dennis Allen. Really getting that defense all together. Only gave up 21 points and less than 350 yards on offense for the Steelers. So a job well done. All the credit in the world deserved there. Looking into the 3 keys, what really went well. Nashawn Wright been balling out. He is incredible. He's tied for the NFL lead with most interceptions with Kevin Byard right by his side. Both him and Byard have 5 picks. No one saw this coming. He's on a 1-year, less than $2 million deal. So for him to ball out the way he has, leading the league in picks, again, that play on Sunday, that up arm, it was just one of the most tremendous, most athletic plays I've seen. Gave me flashbacks of that Odell Beckham Jr. catch against the Cowboys. It's just incredible to see. He's been balling out. And DeMarco Jackson stepping up with the linebacker position, 15 tackles. Coming in from, again, he had some limited playing time leading up to that, but for him to step up the way he did on Sunday, again, DeMarco Jackson, remember the name, a job well done for him. And then on the offensive side, also worth noting, Ozzy Trapillo, who's our rookie lineman from Boston College, 2nd-round pick. For him to step in that left tackle position with Theo Benedict out, he did a phenomenal job. And I know in the preseason, there are some people that are making a case for Trapillo should be the starter. I'm not going to be the one to make that decision. Trust Ben Johnson, trust our coaching staff. They've done an unbelievable job all year, as we know. But all I'll say is that Ozzy's really made a case to retain that starting left tackle position. Only being a rookie, lots of growth that can be made there. So overall, awesome win. Would love to hear your feedback as well. But as we look into the good, bad, and the ugly, the good, just want to highlight Dennis Allen one more time. For him to have that great of a play call. Again, it was against Mason Rudolph. It's still unbelievable job well done. And when we're looking at the bad, really just want to focus on some negativity from certain Bears fans as well as fans across the league where people say we've had a soft schedule. People say we've hadn't played anyone that's been really tough, but we're 8-3 in the National Football League. We are first place in the NFC North, and even these end-of-game operations we've seen all year long, just for our team to always deliver, always come through, and that's a testament to our coaching staff and how great they've been. So what a great time to be a Chicago Bears fan. This is just incredible. And the ugly, Aaron Rodgers, he's ugly. One point I did really want to make here was Dan Graziano of ESPN tweeted Sunday morning that Aaron Rodgers arrived at Soldier Field and he walked 1 lap around the field, flipped off a couple of cameras that were filming him, and went back inside. So he's Aaron Rodgers. He hates Chicago. Chicago hates him. He really buys into that rivalry he has with us. And it's, regardless if he's going to be on the Packers or the Steelers or anywhere else, we're always going to hate him. I know that on Sunday he was pushing to play. And in fact, the Steelers were the ones who said no. They played a more conservative route there. So it's very intriguing to see Rodgers wanting to play just as bad as a lot of us Bears fans wanted to see him out there just so we can get our vengeances on previous games. So I'm hoping we do get another shot at him down the road here. Again, not sure what he has not sure what he has left in his career. So we'll see what all happens there. But Again, doesn't matter if we're playing Aaron Rodgers, doesn't matter if we're playing Mason Rudolph, doesn't matter if we're playing a guy coming off the street. The Bears are 8-3. They beat a very good Steelers team. Mike Tomlin, again, he's a phenomenal coach, super well liked around the league, well respected. The fact that some Steelers fans are calling for his job honestly surprises me. I get the criticalness of he's never won a playoff game lately. He's always that 9-8, 8-9. He's always that like around 500. But for them to be as consistently good as they've been, and given the roster they have, defense is great. TJ Watt, one of the best players in the league. Where they're at in the quarterback position and how everything looks there, I just don't think coaching is the biggest issue they have. So if they do get rid of Tomlin, I'd be very intrigued to see where the Steelers go and I guess what that leaves for them. So again, nonetheless, great win for the Bears, 8-3. And up next, got Philly on the road. It's a Black Friday game on Amazon Prime. They don't sponsor me to say that, but just letting you guys know, if you guys don't have Amazon Prime, you got to find a way to watch the game. So and this is alluding to a deeper conversation about expectations and how they've been redefined. Going into the year, I'd say not a lot of us saw this immediate success coming, especially after that 0-2 start. So it's one of those where 8-9 wins, make the playoffs, but going into the year, this schedule was tough. Playing a NFC East schedule with the defending champion Eagles, with the Commanders, with Jaden Daniels, and we still played them at the time, still a very close game there. The Cowboys, who are looking pretty good all of a sudden, and then the Giants, and we also had a battle up against the AFC North, so to go play against the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, who we thought would have been with Burrow, like not an easy schedule. So for the Bears to excel the way they have and be in a position to really take the North, it's just amazing to see. One point I do want to make though is that let's say the Bears end the year 3-3, and for context, put it on the YouTube here, but 6 remaining games go at Philly, at Green Bay, then we host the Browns, and then we play the Packers once again. 2 times in a 3-week span before going to San Francisco and closing out with Detroit. All those teams are relatively good. The Browns are the one exception, but Shedeur looked good last week against the Raiders, and Myles Garrett's going to have his sacks. He's a dog. So it's one of those situations where realistically, if let's say we go 2-4, 3-3 to end the year, if we go 3-3, we're an 11-6 team. That is a playoff team. 10-7. Questionable. Last year the Seahawks went 10-7, missed the playoffs. So for me, like I've been looking at this year more of a progression standpoint and seeing Caleb continue to evolve and grow and seeing competent coaching staff, which again, I knew Ben Johnson's real deal. He's getting paid $13 million, so that bar is set very high, but for him to deliver the way he has, just amazing to see, and it really makes for a bright future here for the Bears. And they've woken the beast that NFC North has. So that's close to being the first 4,000-yard passer for the Bears. And Bears fans, we've been looking for this for a long time. Even looking at ticket prices, seeing how much they've gone up throughout the year. Prior to that Steelers game, looking at Saturday night, Sunday morning, couldn't find a ticket for cheaper than $500, which is just incredible. And looking at the Browns and Packers games, you're not seeing anything cheaper than $340, $350 to get in. So that's a testament to how hungry for good football Chicago has been. So after a little tangent, circling back here, I'm curious. Like I've seen a lot of Bears Twitter and a lot of Bears fans who claim this would be such a disappointing season if we don't make the playoffs. And our toughest competition is ahead of us still. We still have these incredibly tough games we need to play. That said, again, depending on the progressions we make, and if Caleb Teams look good and Ben Johnson still doing great things, but the defense a little bit banged up, and I get they're getting healthier. And I do know that Edmonds, who's going on the injured reserve, our defense is going to be a little bit banged up, even though our cornerbacks are coming back. Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon both expected to make a return at some point. I just don't want to set the bar too high from where the season looks, where if we make the playoffs, clear, as good as day, we're actually so thankful to be in that position. So if we make the playoffs, that's a winning season. That's amazing. That said, I also want to be a realist at the same time, where going into the year, this is everything we could have ever asked for, and we're alluding to a brighter future ahead. So this is loser talk. But the Bears have trained me really well to have that loser talk ingrained in me, just because I've got my hopes up about the Bears so many times, going into so many years where I was a Trubisky believer, I was a Fields believer, and for me being a Caleb believer, and just to see the testament how important it is to have competent coaching staff, and how competent it is to have a great play caller. It's changing. It's just amazing. So one of those situations where, at this point, we're playing with house money, so still think the best is yet to come, but I also want to make sure that we are taking time to appreciate where we're at, appreciate the moment, being thankful for the progress we've made. So switching gears to the Blackhawks now. Our week hasn't been as great. They've had a 1-3 week. So first, to focus on the positive, Connor Bedard, second hat trick of his career on Tuesday. I was in there with some buddies, and what an incredible game. For me, seeing a hat trick was on my sports bucket list. And there's been a few different items I've had the privilege of checking off. One of them being the no-hitter, which showed to Imanaga at the Cubs last September. And then to be there for the Bedard hat trick, phenomenal. And just the way he's progressed, it's so amazing to see. This year 2 to year 3 jump is just night and day difference. Shout out to great coaching, Jeff Blazel, and deserves a tremendous amount of credit there. For Chicago to have two key superstars like Caleb Williams and Connor Bedard to be where we're at now, future's bright, and the Blackhawks are building a young core around Bedard. Frank Nazar is incredible. Spencer Knight, one of the top goalies in the league. I really like where we're heading. Now to focus on the negatives a little bit with some of those 3 losses. One I really did want to touch on was last Thursday. We had a 2-0 lead against Seattle, and we blew it at home. But there were a few pieces there. So Andre Burakovsky left the game with an injury, so Blackhawks were a little bit tired. They kind of lost some gas then. It's unfortunate, but it's part of the game. And with 4 minutes left, Bedard was on a breakaway, got hooked or slashed. They called no penalty. Then Bedard had a few pieces of words for the ref before the ref gave Bedard an unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, the Kraken ended up scoring on that power play, won the game, and Blackhawks lost 3-2. It was just really unfortunate. The call was just so unnecessary in that moment. Penalty was clear as day. Again, I can't believe they missed that, but even to miss that and then double down by making that unsportsmanlike conduct call, I know Blazel had some very questionable words about it to the media, and it's great to see him sticking up for his guys. But it seems like the refs, they've just not been great all year. Even back in October, we had a game against the Canucks at home where there is a brutal, just absolutely brutal goalie interference call that waved off what would have been a game-winning goal. Hawks proceeded to lose that shootout, and again, a few different examples here and there we can poke fun at, but again, for the time being, again, this may just be with a young, emerging core. With a younger team, they might not have that veteran presence to get some of those favorable calls, so hopefully that's just a short-term issue. But also worth noting from last weekend, after they lost to Seattle at home, the following night went to Buffalo, and they got crushed 9-3. Soderblom was in net then, and he's not the greatest goalie in the universe, so nonetheless, to lose there and then to come back home and on Sunday losing to Colorado 1-0. Spencer Knight, phenomenal game. Gotta get pucks in net. Just one of those 50-50 games. But to compete against a team like Colorado, they're a phenomenal team. Deserve all the respect in the world. So from a macro viewpoint, the Blackhawks really taking steps in the right direction, where everyone thought they were going to be a bottom 5 team in the league. They thought they were going to be poverty. They thought they were just going to be a non-contender. And for them to be fighting for that wild card spot, at least be in the fight, at least be relevant, and have his young core taking strides and taking steps in that direction. The future's bright for the Blackhawks as well. I'm very optimistic on where they're headed. And one piece I am really excited to talk about is the alternate jerseys that make the return. Friday morning, Blackhawks announced that they'll be going to back in black for a few different games this year. The first game wearing the black jerseys will be Friday night against the Nashville Predators. And the jerseys are unbelievable, some of the best in the business. I believe the Hawks uniform is known for being one of the best jerseys in general, and those black jerseys just take it to a whole nother level. They are incredible. I love them. I cannot wait to get one. So on that, Blackhawks have 3 home games this week. Wednesday they play the Wild, and then on Friday they play the Predators before Sunday take on the Ducks at home. So got a good homestand here. We will see how it goes. Hopefully they bounce back and have a winning week. And lastly, I'm talking about the Bulls. They've had a better week last week. They went 3-1. An impressive win at Denver on the road. And then after that, they played in Portland. Almost blew a fourth quarter lead, but Vooch had a game-winning 3 as time expires. His second game winner on the year. So it's great to see the Bulls wrapping up that West Coast road trip on a positive note. And then they returned home last Friday, and they got demolished by the Heat in the NBA Cup, losing 143-107. I'm not an NBA Cup expert by any means, but I believe that practically eliminates them from contention. And then on Saturday, they beat a 1-15 Wizard team narrowly, 121-120, which required a fourth quarter comeback there. So they're going to be in the play-in game. They're going to be seeds 7 through 10 Eastern Conference. They made that play-in tournament with the Hawks and the Heat and the regular attendees in that play-in tournament. I hope they prove me wrong. It is good to see that they're building a young core where Josh Giddey has been incredible. He's nearly averaging a triple-double. He's over 20 triple-doubles in his career. He's only 23 years old. Still lots of growth that can happen there. Having the young core with Patrick Williams. Louis White is now coming back. He's out of injury. One of those situations where the young core is good. I still feel like we need to get a better big guy. Now we just talked about how Vooch had his second game-winning shot of the year. But he's getting a little bit older and really trying to focus on this young core. I'm hoping we can sell a few pieces at the trade deadline, try and build and grow for the future, maybe get a big man in there. Again, I don't want to say the word tank because I like seeing teams compete. I like seeing them play well. But the Bulls have been in this purgatory where they're not going to be top 6 in the East, and they're too good to be in the lottery. And the NBA draft this year is supposed to be top tier. It's supposed to be lots of great talent. So wouldn't mind seeing them focus on the future, focus on winning more than just this year. That said, look forward to them being in the play-in tournament in April and losing to the Heat then. So on that note, we'll just give a disclaimer now. This being the first episode of the Chicago Sully Show. I'm a diehard Bears fan, diehard Cubs fan, diehard Blackhawks fan. Bulls, I really like. I feel like NBA, I think the Bulls just crushed me so many times growing up where with D Rose, I've wanted to believe in them, and I think they've just settled for mediocrity. That goes for both Reinsdorf teams. I grew up a Cub fan, diehard Cub fan. My dad had tickets to the Cubs. I worked for the Cubs. And again, I don't mind the White Sox. I don't hate the White Sox. I would like to see them be competitive with the young core they have, but both Reinsdorf teams are just, they're not trying to win. They're not actively building a team to win, and it rubs me the wrong way. So hopefully things will change there. And before we drop off, just a quick little editorial note. Do appreciate you bearing with me while the misproduction is still a work in progress. It's been really a fun experience for me so far to edit the videos, and from there, that production standpoint. And a lot of this is going to improve over time where, for example, the graphics you're seeing, they're not going to be AI. And for me to record myself, over time, this is going to become more conversational. And I think that episode 0, the intro, is so scripted where for me, I'm still working to actually have this authentic dialogue, and over time as we include people in the show and we have more discussions surrounding Chicago sports, again, this is only going to grow, only going to be better. So appreciate you bearing with me for the time being. Best is still to come. So on that note, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, thank you for following along, being a part of this journey, and I will catch you on Wednesday. So without further ado, go Bears, go Hawks, go Bulls, and let's get it.